We'll wait for 5 minutes. Till then, let's try and interact with the people who are there in the meet. So I usually, whenever I take a session anywhere around colleges or events, I do like to interact with people so that it becomes more valuable to you as well. So yeah, who's here? You can write hello in the chat box if you're here. You can say hello in your own language. I'll also write. Uh, Hello, Rafia. Hi, Anirudh. Hi, Saitya. Hi, Anushka. Hi, Adrisha. Hi, Shanmukta. Kunal Patil. Yuvraj. Hi. I think I recognize Yuvraj. He reached out to me on Slack. Yeah. Right, Yuvraj? Yeah. You don't have to call me sir. You can call me Aman. In corporate and in open source in general, we don't call people by sir by calling them sir or man. You can just simply call people by their name. Yeah, respectfully. So, who joined afterwards? By the way, hi Saksham, are you there? Hi Tarun, how are you?
Hello, sir. So I am Srijan.
Oh,
We had a meet, and Saksham is not available right
no
now.
worries, no worries. I just wanted to ask, when can we start? Like, are we good to start, or am I supposed to wait for like 4, 5 more minutes?
So we could wait more for 5 minutes, I guess.
Cool,
People are joining continuously.
no worries. I understand. I think most of the people here are from college, right? Yeah, I love college folks. They are very punctual. They, yeah, of course, they're very punctual. They don't ever use tricks like proxies, giving a proxy for their friend and all. I love it. Cool. By the way, before we get started, while we are waiting for other people to join, I think we can have a chat around different things here. So I before like for every session that we usually take, we don't have it a lot scripted, right? We totally leave it up to the audience what they want. So what we usually do is, if it is a 40 45 minute session, if you're investing 40 45 minutes into my session, it becomes very important that you get best out of it, right? So it is very important that you get it what you want, right? So if it is, in case, let's just say, more than 200 people, so it becomes very hard to make it precise to what the audience wants, right? So we keep it normalized, we cover everything from the basics to the very advanced level things. But considering that the number is pretty low here, it is on the lower side, so we can talk exactly about what you want. So can you guys write in the chat box, what are you guys here for? Are you here to learn about Git, GitHub? Are you here to learn more about how to contribute to open source? Are you here for the best practices? Are you here for the main topic of discussion today, that is GSoC 26, GSoC 2026, how to contribute? Okay, Tarun is here to learn on how to contribute. I want to understand, how do we have to write the proposal? So you're talking about the GSoC proposal, right? Cool, we'll get there. Procedure of contributing in Winter of Code slash GSoC. I can tell you a lot about GSoC. For Winter of Code, I think folks from GDG IIIT Kalyani would be able to tell you more about, since they are the ones conducting it, I guess. So how do we know which projects would be best for us? Okay, that is also a great question. Yes, we were GSoC 2026, main topic GSoC 2026. I'm trying to track GSoC from 2 years, but can't get selected. What to do? I mean, crack. Okay, okay. So I think most of the questions here are, most of the people are here for the GSoC part, right? So okay, Yuvraj is asking how we can contribute to open source ideally, and what's the ideal way for someone to get into GSoC. Fair enough. We'll get to all of these questions. Tarun is asking how to understand code base, mainly here for GSoC 2026 and how to approach it. Okay. in first year trying for GSoC and learn more about open source. Fair enough. How to contribute to open source effectively. Okay, effectively is a word here that we need to focus on. Git workflows. Okay, so Sahitya is asking for Git workflows. So what Git workflows are you exactly talking about? Are you talking about normal cron jobs? Are you talking about GitHub Actions? Are you talking about GitHub Actions, right? Can you once confirm in the chat? So okay, GitHub Actions. You're talking about GitHub Actions. Fair enough. I'll share you a very good insight as well. How to actually use these. So there is a lot of story time. Since we have 2 more minutes, let's have a story time. Since Sahitya talked about GitHub workflows. So GitHub Actions or GitHub workflows are something that automates a process. Okay. So in GitHub, if you go to a particular repository, there's a tab called as Actions, where you can create automations. You can use GitHub's API to make these automations. There are more automations apart from GitHub Actions, but I'll share a very clever story by one of the contributors to Keploy, that is our GSoC organization. So every time we created an issue on our GitHub repository, he got notified that someone has created an issue, go contribute quickly. So he created a cron job for that. He created a GitHub action for that. So what it did was it repeatedly reached, every time I created an issue for a GSoC contributor, he to ensure that he is the first one to contribute, he created a GitHub action. So in order to automate certain practices, you use GitHub actions. It is a very useful tool. It could be used very effectively. So in case of this person that I am talking about, we got really impressed and we also shared it on our socials. Okay, how to shortlist organizations to contribute and approach the maintainer. Okay, we'll get there as well. We need to contribute only one organization or need to go with multiple. Okay. Oh, okay. Org selected or Google contributor. Org selected for Google. Okay. So I'll take up all the questions one by one once we are in the session. So as I mentioned earlier, the session totally depends on what the audience wants. So if it were let's just say beginners trying to understand Git and GitHub, we would have started from there. But considering most of you are here for the GSoC part, so we'll go with the GSoC uh, session that we usually do. So I'll give you one more context here. So before we get started, so I think should also introduce myself. I'll do one thing. I'll quickly share my screen. By the way, are we good to start? Can anyone from the
Hello,
team?
hello, sir. I'm Akansha Gupta from IIIT Kalyani. So,
Okay.
before we begin, can I quickly give a short introduction about you and about the session?
Yeah, yeah, of course, sure, sure, sure. I was waiting for, people to come in so that I can share my screen and then introduce myself. I wanted to know you guys first. So I think I can maybe recall a lot of names there. Yuvraj, I recall. Tarun is there. Adrisha is there. So are we good to go? Can we start? If we are good to start to make this session interactive. Raja is writing yes, sir. No, we don't want yes, sir. We want let's go. Let's go then. Cool then. I'm sharing my screen with you guys. Can anyone confirm if my screen is
Yes,
visible?
sir.
Cool then. So I'll quickly present this document. So hello guys. My name is Aman. I'm a GSoC 25 mentor here at Keploy. Not just 25 mentor, but I'm also going to be one of the mentors for the GSoC 2026 tenure. So I'll give you a little context about myself, why I am talking about GSoC here. Am I really the relevant person to talk about GSoC? So I'll give you a very quick flashback. Back in 2025, in February, I joined Keploy. And after that, after joining Keploy, I have almost seen most of the phases of GSoC, be it the early stage contributions, be it applying for GSoC as a organization, since we have been a part of GSoC since the last 3 years, be it reviewing proposals, from the people reaching out to me personally, be it reviewing proposals from people applying to Keploy, be it reviewing proposals on the GSoC dashboard itself, or be it, let's just say, selecting the folks, or after that as well. So since Keploy has been a part of GSoC in the last 3 years, so in the GSoC 2025 tenure, we had 6 projects, and all of these 6 projects got selected for the same. And we chose 6 contributors from the open source community who contributed to us. And the surprising part is that out of these 6 projects that we proposed to Google, all of them got selected, and I personally mentored 3 of them. So you can say that I first of all reviewed the proposals, I shortlisted people, I mentored them, I went through all of the phases, be it midterm evaluation, be it weekly evaluations, be it weekly meetings, or let's just say the final evaluation on how to evaluate people. So in this session, we are going to talk about GSoC step by step. We will talk about the best practices, how to contribute, how to make yourself stand out of the crowd, what are the best ways to ensure that you get selected, and what are the red flags to avoid, and what are the green flags that the maintainers or the mentors look for. And you can also ask away questions at the end of the session, not just related to GSoC preparation, but also afterwards what is going to happen. If you have any questions related to what would happen once I get selected into GSoC, right? There's this a long time you spend on coding after you get selected. So even after that, you guys have any questions, feel free to ask in the chat box once we are done with it. Cool. So we're good to start. Can we have one more let's go in the chat? I know I'm asking it quite a few times. I think I've asked for it second time. I just want to ensure that everyone is with me. Let's go, let's go. Ayu says let's go. Cool then. So let's get started. So can you guys quickly raise your hands if you know anything about GSoC? You have heard of it before. Pratik has, Yuvraj has heard of it. There are a bunch of people. Tarun, Harish, Anna. Cool. So I think a lot of you are familiar with it because GSoC, especially in terms of students, they are aware of GSoC because it acts as a platform for you to get into the open source community and actually earn without officially being a part of the community. It also helps you get a lot of earning, but at the same time, it also provides you a very good platform where you can actually, see what is happening in real life software organizations. How do you ship code? How do you write maintainable code? And how do you actually make it live to the production? Cool. So let's get started. So I hope you guys know about open source, right? Yeah, you can raise your hand if you know about anything about open source. Yes, you know about open source. Can you guys name your favorite open source organization in case you are aware of open source? Yo, Linux. Of course, Linux has to be one of the best open source, repositories and organization projects in general. I see KDE, I see Linux. VLC is also there. I
Kubernetes.
personally use VLC. Just to ensure that everything is running smooth, we can do one thing. We can try to interact in the chat. Let's not open up our mics. So since you guys are aware of what open source really is, I'll try to simply, you know, define it in very short. So open source is basically computer software where the source code is distributed under an open source license that allows anyone to study it, distribute the software. So I'll take a quick example, something you guys must relate to. So you guys must have played any sport like football or cricket, right? You see your favorite players playing in the stadiums, right? You want to be at that position, but that does not mean that you can stop playing football anywhere else, right? So basically open source is some sort of a field, let's just say a football field, or let's just say a small scale or a normal football or cricket tournament where you can register yourself. You can simply go join them, play with them, or maybe conduct your own matches there or join them. So it is basically to promote collaboration so that everyone can read your code base, can build on top of it or contribute to it. So it promotes collaboration. Community of dedicated developers are there who are there to maintain that particular repository or a project where, and they are the ones responsible to review what others are contributing in terms of contributions in, let's just say, ideas, or let's just say code changes and so on. So what one edge case that I think we should cover up here is, people often come to me and they have this one question: what if we open source our entire code base and they steal our code? Do you have the same question in mind ever? No, I'm not really sure if I have an answer for that, but I do have an opinion for that, which resonates with a lot of people in the open source community. So, since let's just say that our organization built a software and we open sourced it, right? A lot of people can come and try to steal it, but it is not really possible to steal the entire code base, right? At the same time, even if they do so, so the motivation behind keeping your software open source, in my opinion, is we are not doing it for personal benefit. It is for the community. Let's just say that there is a problem and you're trying to solve a problem and you open source it. But let's just say in future there is someone who can solve the problem better than me. Or let's just say who has a better approach to solving that problem. So that person might come and solve the problem. So the point here is, the idea is to build it for the community. It is to solve a problem. It is okay if I solve it. It is okay if someone else comes and solve it, right? So you guys must be aware of this one problem people talk about Instagram, that you can't see who viewed your story. There must be a search option for it, right? Whether you can see whether your crush just saw your Instagram story or not. Can you guys relate to this Instagram story thing? So I'm taking this example because let's just say I were to solve this problem, because I would love to solve this problem, that maybe I can take a look by searching inside my story viewers whether my crush has viewed my Instagram story or not. So I would maybe try to create, if Instagram was open source, I would try to create a project where I would be building that feature that maybe I can search whether some person has viewed my story or not. This is open source. Someone can come contribute to it and also steal at the same time. But you have to ensure that they steal as like an artist, right? The whole motto is to solve the problem. The whole motto is for me to take a look and look for a specific person who has viewed my story. So I hope you get the motivation, right? If I made my point clear, you guys can write let's go again. Let's go. I know I'm asking for it again and again, but it really ensures that I'm actually connecting with people whom I'm supposed to be guiding. So what is Google Summer of Code? So Google Summer of Code, also known as GSoC, is an online international program designed to encourage contributors and, to be precise, the early contributors who want to participate in open source software development. So GSoC is, affiliated to Google. There's a dedicated team who takes a look at, who organizes GSoC, and they've been doing it for quite a long time. There are a bunch of open source communities who are a part of GSoC. So what really happens is, this is a tenure of a few months where you can, contribute to organizations listed under GSoC. The benefit is it provides you, first of all, as a student, especially coming from colleges from India, what we really care about is the stipend, right? The finances, right? So that we can afford things like, maybe a new Jordan or a new sneaker, right? So first of all, it does provide you stipend, good amount of money in your bank, and at the same time, it also ensures that maybe you can get a job or an internship at a GSoC organization if you perform well in during this tenure. And apart from that, there are a lot of things that not a lot of people tell you about GSoC. That is the experience. That is the experience it brings with you. For example, let's just say if I were to contribute and become a part of a GSoC organization, I'm not just maybe solving a problem, or not just maybe creating or working on a project, but there are other things as well that I'm learning along the go. So to learn the best practices of software development, of course you can learn it using documentations or resources available out there, but the best learning only comes out when you do things practically. You can make you know practical implementations by building your own project, but at the same time you want to ensure that it is done at the best level under the best guidance and in an environment which actually resonates with the environment of the place where you want to be. For example, if I want to get to a place, let's just say like Google or any other uh, organization, right? So if I contribute to GSoC, let's just say there's a GSoC open source repository called as Chromium, which is maintained by Google. So if I participate in GSoC for Chromium, I'm not only working on a project, or let's just say working on a project solving some problem, but I'm also learning the most important things that is very important as a software developer, or let's just say anything in general related to tech. This is the best platform where you can learn and actually apply things. It also teaches you important lessons that would be very helpful for you in the future. And I know I may be elaborating it a little bit, but it is coming out of personal experience, not just mine, but also the contributors and the mentees that I have mentored. The most important thing is not just clearing the project, but also the learning of life that comes along with this. And yeah, by the way, I'll give you one more insight that, I mentored three GSoC mentees last year. Apart from the project as well, we are very well connected on WhatsApp, or let's just say in general. We got a very good friendship as well. And apart from that, we also catch, hang out often, talking about what are these guys learning, what are you working on lately. We discuss our ideas as well. So there's a lot of things that Google Summer of Code brings to the plate, not just the stipend or the project you're working on. You like the motivation here? Are you getting my point? Every time you feel like you're getting my point, just write, let's go. Cool. So let's move ahead. So what is the goal of the program? I think we've covered pretty much of it, right? Like the motivation and why and who should contribute to GSoC, or be taking part of GSoC, right? So let's move forward with this as well. I think, yeah. So I'll cover, like, most of the things are covered about GSoC, initially the idea behind it, but I will keep on mentioning the important points so that I don't miss out on anything. This this will also cover the basic doubts that people usually have. You can get it clarified in this session itself. So the program is open to students and beginners in open source that are 18 years or older. So ideally, people keep asking, is it only open to college students, or maybe some professionals can also join in? So here's the truth. If you're over 18 and you're new to the open source community, you're most welcome. Be it first year students, second year students, third, fourth, so on, or even a recent grad as well, or maybe someone who has been from some other technical domain. Let's just say that maybe someone is from, let's just say some marketing background guy is there, right? But he or she got a motivation to contribute to open source and learn about open source, so they are also welcome. So that is the best thing about a program like GSoC and open source. We don't really care about what your education background is. We don't really care about how what you've been doing in the past. The goal is to understand the correct motivation and whether you're dedicated to it or not. So it is open to everyone. So what kind of projects do you guys can contribute on? So there are basically three types of project. One that could be segregated in small size, medium size, and large size projects. And as the name suggests, if it is approximately 90 hours of project that you're working on, it is called as small size project, and similarly for medium and large as well. And the point here is that not a lot of people will tell you, but you get paid on the basis of the project size. If it is a small size project, you would get paid according to that. And if you're working on a large project, you get paid more compared to small or medium. So this is something you guys must know. But again, I would say I don't think so money is the only motivation. If you're going for large projects, you get to learn a lot more, and even beyond what you guys can think of. It can actually transform you, as a person within the 350 hours of time that you're spending there. So the standard coding period is around 12 weeks. However, contributors can extend their projects to max of 22 weeks. So this is a clarification. People think that if they are not able to complete the project once being selected, then not able to complete it within the 12 weeks, they get disqualified. No, it is not like that. I'll give you an example. Last year we had a project, and the mentee was a second year student, and he had his exams going on just at the time when the tenure started, and his exams lasted for 3 weeks, and he was very worried whether he would be able to complete it in 12 weeks. So we extended his timeline to 4 weeks ahead. So he got almost a month extra to work on it. So you don't have to worry always about whether you are limited to 12 weeks or not. So also for small size project, the coding period is 8 weeks, but again that can also be tweaked to 2 or 3 weeks further. Contributors work with an open source organization under the guidance of mentors while earning a stipend for successfully completing the project. One clarification here is that for a one particular project, there is not one single mentor. There could be primary mentor, there could be secondary mentor, and or 2 or 3 more mentors at the same time, so that you get most of the people to talk to whenever you get stuck. So ideally in a project there you would be getting at least 3 to 4 mentors whom you could reach out anytime. So did I was I able to solve a lot of but a bunch of queries here that maybe a lot of people might have missed out, considering that this is coming out of my personal experience. So Tarun understood the assignment. He's going with let's go. Okay, Kunal also understood the assignment. Let's go. Cool, cool. Pandit also got it. Fair enough. Anurag, thanks. Shai also got it. Cool. So let's move ahead. So how does GSoC work? We are going to talk about the timeline here. So this is the updated timeline, by the way. So between January 19th and February 19th, the organizations would be, applying for to become a part of GSoC officially as a GSoC organization. So it is high time that we are also going to be a part of GSoC. We'll be applying on 19th of January. This would be the fourth continuous year that we'll be part of it. And one thing you should be taking care of is the number of organizations keep increasing. Last year it was somewhere around 160. No, sorry, it was in 2024. It was somewhere around 160, 162. 2025 it was 185. So I'm really hoping this year it would be somewhere around 200 people. I mean 200 organizations. So once the proposals for the organizations are over, interested participants could reach out to the orgs with with their project ideas and discuss with the orgs. This would start from February 19th, I think 5 days after the Valentine's Day or the Valentine's week. I'm not sure about the Valentine's week, but I would be definitely excited for this week when we actually start to go with the ideas, project ideas, and proposals. So once the tenure starts, so after February 19th, contributors can submit their project proposals to the mentors. And this is basically the time I mentioned here is 16th March to 31st of March, but it is not mandatory that you do it between 16th to 31st. The best practice here is to do it beforehand, because let's just say if it is starting officially from 16th to 31st, you know that mentors would be getting a lot of proposals, right? A bunch of people would be sharing the proposals, and you know there is a chance that out of so many proposals you might not stand out. So the best practice here is to show up early. So why wait for 16th of March? Share it. Let's just share your proposal, let's just say March 1st or 2nd. I'll tell you one more nice thing one of the uh, participants here did. I think in the morning I received a message on LinkedIn. It was someone, I forgot the person's name. It is rare that I forget names, but he shared a proposal with me. It is January 16th, and I already have one proposal. So I appreciated that guy, that it is great. I would appreciate him further as well, that it is a great practice to show up early in software development in general. If you show up early, or for any opportunity, if you show up early, there are more chances of you getting selected and being pointed out by the people. Cool. And also one more thing, when I mentioned that from February 19 onwards, you can start going to the organizations, mentors, and discuss your project ideas. This is also not something fixed. This is the official time that people get started with. But in this case as well, I would say showing up early is a very best practice, because it is January 16th, right? From December second week, I'm seeing participants in Keploy Slack channel. I've seen 4 to 5 people, and I've recognized their name. I have remembered their name, and most of the mentors in the organization, they know their name. Why? because they are constantly contributing to us and they are showing up early. So when a time comes where we are actually supposed to review the proposals, of course these guys would be getting a priority. Why? Because the mentors, they recognize them, right? They know that they know the entire project properly. They have contributed to it early as well. They have a very good context of it. So it becomes very important that you show up early. Not a lot of people would show up early. This is the reason why this is one thing that separates a very good contributor with a normal contributor. So mentor organizations would choose the contributors they'd like to accept. This would be done between 31st of March to 21st of April in 2026. So one more insight I'll give you here is, so every year the number of proposals for each organization, they double up. So back in 2024, if we had n number of proposals, in 2025 we got the double of it, and it was kind of very overcrowded to us. So it is very important that you show up early, because when the numbers increase, it becomes very important to, you know, maybe stand out from the crowd. There are multiple ways to do it, and showing up early is the best way to do so. So once the mentors have finalized the proposals, the contributors are paired with the mentors to help them throughout their project. Once we finalize the project, the mentor and the mentee, there is a community bonding period that starts from May 1st to May 24th. During this community bonding period, we talk about everything. We talk about who you are, where are you right now, how many classes did you bunk, what are the number of hours you can dedicate in general, or maybe just community bonding in general. Get to know each other properly, get to know the project properly, get to know what is the process, the organization follows to code their work up, right? So once the community period is over, the actual coding part begins. That is from 25th of May, and it goes for at least 8 to 12 weeks depending on the project size. And yeah, you can extend it as well. So was I clear here? If I was clear, you know the drill, right? Let's go, let's go, let's go. Great. Someone is asking, can you share this PPT with us? Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll share this PPT with someone from the GDG team, and I hope they'll give it to you. I hope they won't really gatekeep it. How to make contributions? Yeah, we'll get there. So before we move ahead, let's just make it a little bit more, interactive, and appreciate the initiative that the GDG team is doing. So like I personally, Keploy personally, sponsors and supports a lot of community events, especially if they're student led. And GDG, what I personally felt with Winter of Code is that they actually did a great job. So guys, can we have GDG triple IT K OP in the chat? I'll also write it. Can we just quickly write GDG triple IT Kalyani OP in the chat? And yeah, also I'll tell you one more thing, one more insight that personally open source people like when they meet people is the intention to support people. The open source community is all about the community itself. So you must see that, there are times when contributors from India, they reach out to other organizations with abuses and all. That is not really appreciated. That is considered to be a red flag in general. What really is a green flag, according to me personally, is the supportive nature. If you are, let's just say, you are inside a community, let's just say you're trying to contribute to a GSoC organization, you are supposed to not just work on your own stuff, but you're also supposed to help others grow. This is a very good trait that, individuals find it very attractive. They actually do stand out. Even in case of Keploy, I would say there's a Slack community that we have. People have joined it. I see people contributing to Keploy as well, but at the same time, I see people helping each other out. And we actually personally talk about these people that see this guy is helping someone out, and we really appreciate it. So yeah, kudos to you guys, whoever is appreciating the organizers here. So yeah, let's move ahead. Do you guys have any questions still here? I'll have water till then. So I think there was one doubt I can recall in the chat. Someone was asking how many proposals can we make? So ideally, you can make three proposals. It could be in the same organization. It could be in different organization. It could be a case that you are maybe writing a proposal to the same organization thrice. It could be a case that you are maybe applying with a proposal to three different organizations as well. So let's get started with the actual idea of how to choose an organization. Okay, how to select which organization would be good to apply. I need to know more about Keploy org. Okay, we'll get there as well. So before we move ahead with what which organization would be good to apply, we should first understand what you yourself want, right? Let's just say that I have interest in certain areas, right? I would want to work on a certain tech stack. So the best practice to do is to work on something you already know, to work on something that you are motivated about. Let's just say if I'm motivated about UI or app development, it would make more sense for me to apply to an organization which supports these kind of tech stack that I am familiar with or I am motivated towards. It would make a little less sense if I am going out of field for, let's just say, I have no clue about what is security, how to work with operating systems. Of course, you are capable enough to do so. You're smart enough, and I'm proud of you. But what if you are applying to something that you don't really know? So the best practice here is to figure yourself out first. What is something that you personally feel would be beneficial for you? What is something you yourself enjoy? What technologies are you familiar with? What is the your commitment towards the number of time you can contribute to? So first of all, figure yourself out, then figure out what organization you are trying to figure out. And how to actually for it is I'll share a link with you guys in the chat. So this is uh, a documentation shared by official developers from the GSoC team. So this is a quick guide for you folks. I'm sharing it in the chat. You can take a look at it. Cool. So how to choose organization. So I think there was this one question from Shaili Gupta, how to select which organization would be good to apply. So I'll share you an insight how to actually do it. So if you go to GSoC orgs apps open, okay, this is for contributors one. Yep. I'm sharing the URL with you guys in the chat box. This is from the 2025 program, right? So what I would do if I were a 2025 GSoC applicant, I would go to this URL. I would search all the organizations that are there. So you see, out of 185 organizations, I can search for specific topic. Let's just say if I'm searching for developer tools, I maybe am someone who loves to make the life of other developers easy. I want to improve the developer experience. So I would just simply filter out with development tools, and I would be able to see a bunch of organizations, and you would see a lot of good organizations there. You can also see Keploy, by the way, here. So if you go to Keploy, let's just say, you can figure out what are the projects there. So right now they are showing the completed projects, but if in case of 2026 program, you would firstly see the list of organizations that are there in the program for 2026, and then you can actually filter them out according to what your needs are. And the best practice here is, if you want to show up early before the organizations get listed here, for every year the organizations, they do get repeated, right? If Keploy was part of GSoC last year, there are very high chances we would be a part of GSoC this year as well. So the best practice here is to go to the past years of organizations. Let's just say if I go to Keploy, if I see what were the projects that were there, so I would be able to figure out what technologies we work on, what are the topics. Maybe if let's just say you are very interested in AI/ML, you want to dive deeper into AI/ML. So I think this organization might be a very good fit for you. So this is how you actually choose an organization. And the best practice again here is to actually look at the project. So if I see this project here properly, I can actually go through the project details and read all of it. What is the need? What is the suggested timeline? What is the project size? So if it fits you, since you figured yourself out, right? So if it fits you, you can start contributing to it, right? Oh, by the way, I can recall a lot of my mentees because I personally connected with them and I miss them, Loki. So Ahmad was one of my contributors. Swapnil was There was one more. I think that project is not ended yet. So I hope the idea is clear with you guys, right? How to choose an organization. Are we good to go, or is there anything else you guys want to? They all want release their problem statement or projects. So there is. So let me clarify this question. So the so Sahitya is asking the org won't release their problem statements or projects. So there are two things here to mention. Once the project ideas get released, there are two kind of projects. One that the org already had in their mind, and the second one is from the contributor. Let's just say I'll use the same example so that you guys can resonate with it. Let's just say I mentioned that if Instagram was open source and I wanted to make a feature that you can share search inside a story, right? So maybe me as a contributor, uh, I wrote a proposal to Instagram that I want to implement this feature. So this would become a project. If the the mentors like it, the maintainers like it, they would just simply accept it, right? So this would become a project. Otherwise, they would simply have a project of their own as well. I hope that was clear, Sahitya. How many contributors do organization take in for GSoC? So for one single project, it is usually one single contributor. Also depends on what is the total number of projects inside of one single organization. For us, it was six last year, so we had six of them. His focus should be on specific technologies like Python or tech stack like AI/ML. So it totally depends. If let's just say you are only aware of Python, you're not much deep into tech stack like AI/ML, but the motivation is right. In the proposal itself, you've mentioned it, right? That what is your motivation behind working on this? Let's just say um, I have some knowledge regarding Python, but I'm not really sure if I know everything. It is totally fine. There should be motivation behind to learn as well. It is not mandatory that we all like the organizations only select the people who know everything. This is a stage to learn as well, right? So the motivation is important here. So use the previous criteria to narrow down 200 mentoring organization down to 10 or less. There are more than 200. If there are more than 150, 180 organizations, you yourself have to firstly figure out at least 10 of the organizations. You rank them according to priority, see which one suits you best, and then see which has more competition. It is better to, of course, competition is also a healthy thing if it is done right. But in case you want to actually support or contribute, it is better to contribute somewhere where there are high chances, right? So go through the list of the organizations, see their projects, and figure yourself out. The best way to do is spend at least 2 days into choosing the organizations. How many PR is need to merge? This is a very specific thing when you talk about how many PRs are supposed to be merged. It totally depends. There have been cases where we just like the proposal and we like the person's GitHub profile. We are okay to go with them. But it is a very good practice that you have at least 4 to 5 PRs merged. 4 to 5 PRs merged for the organization solving the issue. Actually solves a lot of problems for you. It ensures your entry to the GSoC if the competition is, of course, comparatively lower. And there are two things to it as well. When you're writing a proposal, as a mentor, I would want someone who, first of all, understands the project. That person must have used the software so that the person can actually use the project. That person knows what the project really is. And the second thing is the person has actually contributed to the project. So it is a very best practice that you do two things. First of all, share your experience with using the application so that the maintainers know that you know what the application is and what it does. And second thing is raise a PR so that they know that okay, this guy has contributed to us in the past. In the future, this guy will also contribute very well. How many contributors do they select for a particular project? For one single project, it is usually one single contributor. So let's talk about project proposals info. By the way, I think you guys maybe might have been forgetting a drill here since we've moved to the next session. Let's go, Yuvraj. Let's go, Tarun. Let's go. Let's go. I like the enthusiasm here. I like the way you guys are staying very active. So let's talk about the project proposals here. Once you have narrowed down it to one or three organizations, because you're supposed to reach out to at the at least a max of 3 organizations. Reach out to them and start writing your proposals for the project. Let's just say if I were to contribute to Instagram, if it were open source, I would start reaching out with a proposal that, okay, this is a problem that I figured out. How did I figure out? I have been using this application. I know how this application works. And this is something I feel like it could be an issue. It could be an improvement. It could be a new feature itself. So there are two things here. First of all, you need to explain to the person that I understand this application. And the second thing is I can help in improving this, right? So reach out to the maintainers, reach out to the mentors for the project as well. You can submit a maximum of 3 project proposals. I think I've covered this part. Once your proposal is written, ask you for feedback. It is okay to go ask for feedback to the maintainers, but you have to respect their time and the decency as well. I'll share you an insight which I personally felt very bad about is that, there's a friend of mine from an organization that is not based in India. The guy does not understand Hindi, and people started reaching out to him with their proposals. And when he was not able to reply to them on time, they were actually abusing to them. Like, he shared a screenshot with me and he was asking me, what does this MC means? There's a short form of that word. I was like, bro, you don't want to know about it. But that was a very bad image, that was creating a very bad image. And of course there are zero to no chances of you getting selected if you do things like that. So you have to be a little respectful. Go ask the maintainer, if you are free, do review my proposal, I would be looking for a feedback. Follow up once or twice, but make sure you're not doing it in a spammy order, right? It won't be a very good practice that you messaged me in the morning and in the evening you are again asking me. At least wait for 2 3 days. It is a best practice. Once your proposal is written, ask for feedback. I think we've covered it. Try to write it before March 17 when contributor app opens. Get Yeah, I think I mentioned it earlier as well. Don't wait for March 17th. Do it earlier, because after March 17th there would be a lot of proposals that would be getting, and we might not be able to give most of the time to one single proposal, right? So how are we going to write the proposal? Yeah, Tarun knows the drill very well. I think almost a bunch of people know the drill very well. Hmm. It's great to see that while I'm drinking water, I see Let's Go. It keeps me motivated as well. I hope it is motivating you guys as well. So many organizations have their own template. For example, let's just say if you go to a particular organization in the GSoC, let's just say if I go to Keploy's GSoC here, right? So if we provide a template, it would be here somewhere here in the org itself. It is the project list. Wait, let's take some other organization this time. We've talked a lot about Keploy till now. So let's just say this is Jenkins. You guys know about Jenkins, by the way, right? Jenkins. Let's go if you know. Yeah. So if you go to an organization, a lot of organizations they do provide a template for proposals. But if not, how do we write the proposals? Is what we're going to talk about. So, mm, so writing the proposals. Why you want on the project? Why you want to work on the project idea? So to do this in the best way possible, let me just first quickly read this and I'll try to explain this in inside of a whiteboard, right? First of all, mention why you want to work on the project idea. Include any background, skills, knowledge, maybe a short biography of yourself, a context of your own so that the person who is reviewing the proposal gets to know you well. Related work you have done. Let's just say if I'm working for a machine learning project, uh, I'm writing a proposal for a machine learning project. If I have done something related to that in the past, mentioning that is a great practice. It ensures that, okay, this person already worked on it, has already worked on it. They will again work on it. So you have to mention the deliverables as well, what you want to achieve with the project and how do you propose the breakdown of each of everything. Let's go to a let's go to a whiteboard and talk about it properly. So, okay. So let's just say if I were to write a very nice proposal that I would personally like to read. So first of all, it needs to be very, very, very short and to the point. Why? Let's just say as a mentor or as a maintainer, I am getting 100 number of proposals, right? I'm supposed to be reviewing it, all of them, right? So when I'm reviewing so many proposals, if I get to see a proposal of 8 pages, it might feel like, okay, I'm writing an 8 page proposal. They would love it, right? But it is not really the case. When you're reviewing so many proposals, you want it to be straight to the point. The most important things need to be mentioned. And one of the major red flags that we got from Google's team, that people using AI for their proposals are straight up rejected. Almost 40% of the proposals that we reviewed were rejected just because they were like AI generated. So Google specifically sent an email to every organization that if you see someone using AI for writing their proposals, just simply reject them. You don't have to give an explanation. Just mention that this is AI generated. So the best practice: keep it short. Maximum, let's just say 3 to 6 pages is more than enough, but ensure that it is very to the point, precise, and covers most of the things. So, what I want to talk about: maximum of 2 to 3 lines on the title and the abstract, what you are would be working, what you would be building. Talk about the problem statement. It could be, let's just say there's this improvement that I saw in your software, that maybe we can optimize it further, maybe we can scale it further, optimize it in order to scale it to a more number of people. Maybe I think this is something which is broken, and if it is fixed properly, it could be useful to a lot of people. Let's just say that I figured out that this could be a potential feature to your application. This could be a very good problem statement as well. So then what you are going to talk about is your approach and key features. So for example, if I am solving a problem, let's just say I'm doing lead code, I'm trying to solve a problem. Am I really looking into straight up into the solution? Is it the best practice? I would tell you honestly, it is not really the best practice. The best practice is to story tell your solutions. You have to start from the brute force. You get to a better solution, you get to an optimized solution, right? So you have to explain your approach. What you have to story tell the approach properly, that this is what I think about it. This is one potential solution. This could be improved further by an optimized solution, and so on. Then you have to give an implementation plan. This is a very good to have thing, that step by step task. Let's just say if there are 10 number of n number of tasks, I am dividing them based on per week. Let's just say on week 1 I would get familiar with the entire code base. I would read the entire code base, I would read the documentation, I would reach out to the mentors for clarification, so that if I'm working for 8 to 12 weeks on a project, I want to ensure that I know everything about it. If there is one single functionality there, I want to ensure that I know about it. So I'll do one thing. I'll just divide things into week. Let's just say that on week 1 I would do this, and this would be the expected output after week 1, and so on for week 2 and week 3. And then you can also talk about, by midterm evaluation I would be completing this, and after the midterm evaluation I will be completing this. So this is good to have a timeline, right? Then deliverables, what will be shipped by the end. And there are two milestones. This is very important, by the way. There are two milestones, there are two checkpoints. One is midterm evaluation, and the other one is final evaluation. These two are very important. People think that once they got into a GSoC organization, they would work on it. Even if they don't work properly, they would still get the money, the internship stipend, or let's just say the certificate or the recognition. But the point here is that there is a midterm evaluation as well. If you're not able to cope up with the project, if you're not able to work on it properly, by midterm evaluation there would be a midterm evaluation. The mentors would be evaluating the entire work that you've done. Why? Because every week there would be two meetings scheduled between the mentee and the mentor, so the mentor knows you very well and would be able to give you a feedback in the midterm itself, right? So if you pass the midterm evaluation, you get the midterm stipend, that is a 40% of the actual stipend. But if you fail to do so, your GSoC journey is actually over. So you have to be very sure about it, that you show up at very well for the entire timeline. You don't have to, you are not supposed to feel like I got into a GSoC org, life is sorted. It is not like that, at least till midterm evaluation. So you need to mention the tech stack, the tools, and the shortcuts that you would be using. it is good to have. Even if you're using AI for research purposes or to code, you have to specify what are you going to use AI for and how you would be using it, what would be the best practice you would be following. And then this is a very important step that I personally look for in a proposal is risk plus backup plan. So whom do I personally feel is a smart person is who is very proactive. Let's just say if I'm someone who has a plan and I'm very happy about it that I have a plan. But I might not actually consider that person smart. I would consider that person smart only if that person can think of edge cases. That person is not sitting chilled that okay, nothing can go wrong. Life is very unpredictable, things can go wrong. So it is good to have a backup plan, plan A, plan B, plan C as well. So if you are aware of the risk and you have a backup plan as well, it is a very important green flag to that I personally look for in a proposal. So and again, by you can talk about yourself, you can maybe become your own PR that okay, I worked on this relevant skill, I've have this past experience, and I've contributed to the organization. If you have contributed to it, good to have. If you've contributed to the organization, and then the communication plan that how often will you be able to update the mentor, how would you be communicating, what time you want the meetings to be scheduled and all. So yeah, these are pretty much of the things that you need to take care of. If you guys want, I will share this in the chat as well. Just give me a minute. Sure. So I would be sharing all of this with the team of the GDG team. I hope they will share it with you folks as well. Do you guys have any questions till now? I think I've covered most of it. Let's not forget the drill, by the way. Yeah, let's go, let's go. Sujay, Alka, Tarun. I see a lot of let's goes. And I love the fact that the number of let's goes has not reduced here. We have the same people still coping up with us. So this is the timeline. So I think most of the things have been covered till now. If you guys have any questions, we would have like a 5 minute of questionnaire. You guys can ask your questions. Is it one single contributor to one project in the end or to start with? Sorry, I didn't get you. Could you please share sample proposal that you have? Sample proposal. I never wrote a proposal myself. I have a bunch of proposals from the people who reached out to me, but I'm not really sure if I'm able to show it to you because there's a lot of consent revolving around. But I can tell you one thing, Tarun. You go to Google, just search for good sample proposals. You would get a bunch of them because there are blog websites where people share their you know proposals that got selected as well. Should we go with high competition organization or less competition? So it totally depends on you. If you're confident enough that let's just say that there's an organization like Chromium, right? Most of the GSoC contributors target that organization. If you're confident enough that of course you will nail it. Of course you'll get a lot of PRs much before the proposal writing. Go for it. No one is stopping you. You should never underestimate your proposal. But if I were just getting started as a beginner, I would personally choose some organization with a little less competition. How to understand large code base? Some documentations are not detailed. So Kishan is asking how to understand large code bases. So there are two things. In GitHub, I mean GSoC, uh, there is a phase called as the community bonding period that is from May 1st to May 24th, and you get a lot of time to understand the code base. And in this timeline, it is okay to interact with the mentors, the maintainers. You can ask them questions. You can, in fact, ask them to maybe give you a summary of what the code base is, what this file is, what this folder is, and then ask them to maybe tell you how to read this properly, how to understand this properly, because they are the ones who have written it and maintained it. So there's no other person who knows it better than the maintainers. So bond with them in the community bonding period. So this is in terms of GSoC. But what if it is before GSoC, or let's just say in general? So a hack that I personally use is Google's anti-gravity, or maybe just GitHub Copilot. There are so many AI agents that we have at this point that that we have a lot of resources. Earlier, it would have been back in 2022 or 2023 to understand a code base, you have to spend at least a week to understand it. But now you have AI agents. Use them to maybe ask them to act as a maintainer of this repository, act as a highly experienced maintainer who has written this from scratch. So the AI jet would actually act like a maintainer and read the timeline of the project from maybe GitHub or the commit history as well. So you can ask questions to that as well. So I personally would suggest to, since it is for research purpose, go try asking Copilot or maybe some other AI tool like anti-gravity. I am writing a proposal for Keploy. I'm a complete beginner but interested in web development, UX, UI design. Is it possible for me to still get into Keploy? Of course, it is possible for you to get into Keploy because last year as well we had a complete beginner with us. The best thing that we liked about that guy, that person was he first of all applied to us last year as well, last to last year as well, and in 2025 also he was trying to contribute. Although his PR did not get merged, only one of it got merged, but we liked the motivation of that person, so we moved ahead with that person. I'm complete beginner to OS. Can you summarize how can a complete beginner start with Mern? So I'll give you one feedback here. If you want to learn Mern, you should do it with a project. The very first step would be to get started with JavaScript, understand the syntax properly, understand the concepts, then go with at least understand the basics of React, how the project folder is working, how ES6 is working, how exactly what are components, how to integrate with them with each other, and then go with stuff related to backend, understand what are databases, why do you need Node.js and all. If you have spent like at least 1 to 2 months in the uh, theory part, I think after that the best way to do is start working on a full stack Mon project. If you're working on a Mon project, you are good to go. The best way to learn it. I just have good command on coding languages like Python, C++, no tech stack, fully I know. Is it still possible to apply for Kepler or any organization? Of course, it is possible. For example, let's take an example of an organization that works on C++. Let's see. Let's try to help Shelly find an organization. So I would just simply search CPP organizations in GSoC. So, so you see, let's open this page. If I search for C++, so you see, I got a bunch of organizations that are, you know, indirectly or directly connected to C++. Even if not the basics, even if it is maybe a library or a framework, but the thing is, it resonates with your tech stack, right? If you know C++, it resonates with your tech stack. So maybe if you maybe try to open up some project and understand how it is using C++ and what library it is using, of course, you can go ahead with it as well. Let's take which orgs you recommend to people to start, and how can I know some new org that will be coming for GSoC? So new orgs, I'm not really sure how would you actually figure that out because Google does not leak that information. But for orgs, I would definitely say the orgs that were in the previous year would get repeated this year as well. What will be the preferred? What will be preferred to choose our own idea if we have, or just some extended solution for the existing project in the organization? So for the own idea purpose, I would say do it only if you personally feel like you're solving a huge problem that the organizers have not thought of it earlier. For example, let's just say, as I took that example, right? Like a problem that you are pointing out and actually have the potential to solve. If you are able to explain it to them that this is the problem and I know how to solve it, and you have a written proposal for it, step-by-step proposal for it, great to do. Otherwise, if there is an existing problem, of course, that is straight up, of course, you can do it. That is like the ideal case. Okay, which orgs you recommend? Yeah, I personally feel like it totally depends on your tech stack. I wouldn't force you to go apply for GSoC under Keploy. It is totally up to you. It is your story. You are the hero of your story. You are the one who should decide it, not me. Okay. By the way, there's one thing I wanted to ask you guys. I'm not asking a lot from you guys. I just wanted to help you guys out to clear your doubts. The only thing that I want from you guys is maybe you guys can write "We love Keploy" in the chat box so that you guys can at least maybe appreciate the efforts Keploy is putting into helping out people. That is great. I will also write I love Keploy more than my crush. Cool. Thank you so much, folks. Do you guys have any other questions? Any other questions, guys? See, we only have a limited number of time, right? But if you guys want if you guys have any other questions, any other clarifications, you guys can reach me out on LinkedIn, preferably after 9 p.m. because I get free time only after 9 p.m. I do try to reply to everyone because I've also been a student. I've also been a student. I've also been in the same place where you guys are right now. It would be great if someone can help you out. So I would try to do so. Apart from that, I'll do one thing. I'll just simply put up my contact. So this is, by the way, just a URL of just a some sort of a bento link of my socials. But make sure you only reach out if you guys need some help. Don't do it just to stalk me. Okay, guys. Are we good to wrap? Can someone from the GDG team confirm? Further questions can be asked in the on my socials. I do reply within 2 to 3 days. Is there someone from the GDG team? You guys can confirm if we're good to wrap.
Yes, sure, sir.
Cool then. I think you guys can carry forward from here. It was nice talking to you guys. I memorized a bunch of names here. I've memorized Kishan, Yuvraj, Shali, Rafia, Maz, Alka. Tarun, I remember. He was very active throughout the session. He was the one who shouted most of the let's goes. Cool and see you folks. Have a very nice weekend. Although my weekend was supposed to start from 8 o'clock, but I was like, for the community, I don't mind spending 1 hour of my time. Also, whoever is calling me, sir, I pointed out your names. I won't talk to you anymore. You guys can call me man. Cool then. Have a great weekend, guys. Good night. Bye.